Yeah, hello everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Wave meteorologist Brian Good. I know a little bit of a different time here today. We've got some switching around going on. Hope you guys are doing well. It looks like everybody's enjoying the nice weather. Obviously, without a snowstorm in the forecast, you're like, oh, okay, well, rain's kind of boring. But hey, again, this is the title of the blog for this time of the year. So we do have a few items we'll be tracking down the road. I'll show you that in a second. But there's no doubt this is all about rain and mild weather. So we're getting this nice little fall that has moved into to wave country. But there's a lot to cover with that. So while, again, we are always looking ahead for any wintry events, we can't ignore these warm events that come into play, whether it's heavy rain setups or, in some cases, thunderstorms can get involved. Now, I don't see a big thunderstorm threat with this system coming in, but more of a nuisance type of issues with heavy rain when it comes to hydroplane that could develop, especially for travels we head into tomorrow night. I think will be a little more impacted. So, well, a lot to cover on this. Let's start, though, with the snowboard, which it's not really changing because, and I don't have specifics listed here. I just have to list it as pattern to watch because there is a lot of data, as you're about to see, that is really all over the place. And the longer term, it's only because that the storm track is so active coming in from the Pacific that majority of the events typically are rain, but I still see the potential for Arctic air to come back into play, at least into part of the lower 48. I don't think it'll reach all the way to us, but it will certainly influence the extended outlook. Especially now, I got the 7th to the 10th listed here, but if I were to add another line, it would be toward Valentine's Day, as always the case around here. But right now, let's focus on the nice side of things, right? I don't want to be all negative, right? Well, at least snow lovers, that was a positive talking about long term, but you get it. Sunshine. The wind flow a little more in west, northwest today, not so much of a south flow like we had yesterday, but still the air is dry, and we're able to mix the air out. So we have a good chance to get into the mid 50s, maybe even upper 50s for this afternoon. We're at 52 now. Now, that was at the top of the hour. I checked a second ago. I think we're 54 in Louisville, which, by the way, would at least match yesterday's 54. And as you can see here, that would be the warmest day of the year so far. I think Friday will beat that. But today, a good chance to get to about 56, 57 here into the city limits. So it's above normal. So we'll take it. That's all will be welcome sight for a lot of us there. Okay, so the snowpack, it's still there. It's very difficult to see it now from space anyway. A little patch there in the Wabash, southern Indiana, a little patchy. Even parts of Louisville, I get it. Even my neighborhood still has patches of snow. Even the weather garden out here has patches of snow and ice that are holding on tough there, right? And a little more of the snowpack as you head more into Ohio, where obviously it's a little bit colder there, and they've had deeper snowpack too into the Buckeye State. But the rest of the region, it's disappearing. Those snow mounds would be the hardest thing to get rid of. But as I mentioned before, it really takes a good dose of rain and warm weather to get rid of those. Well, we're going to get both. The rain breaking out into areas of Texas. This is a good thing, though, because it did allow for at least Los Angeles area to get rain out of this, and then may get another one here very soon. But this is the system that's going to be racing to the northeast as we head into tomorrow night. And then it will take a turn to the east and head toward the nation's capital. And it's a 1-2 punch. There's one low that'll move by, and there's the upper low on the backside that has to come through on Friday. And it's that secondary low that is going to make Friday a bit of a weird day. And I'll explain why come up in a second. But I do think overall, the track of this low is a really good setup to get a fairly heavy rain type of setup. And we'll discuss rain totals in a second. The chance of rain, now I got a feeling we're going to be raising these chances at the end portion here of 10 p.m. And midnight. I think that's going to be 100%. I think we're going to be locked in. But the important thing about tomorrow's rain chance and what you guys to take away is that we are looking at a dry morning commute tomorrow. Could even have a nice sunrise with the clouds, drop my pen, with the clouds increasing and the sun rise in the east. I think that may allow for a pretty sky tomorrow. We'll see. It's all about timing, but yeah, get ready to see those photos light up on social media. But then we cloud up for sure. We do climb into the 50s, but once that rain begins, which is going to be roughly around noon to 2 o'clock, it'll be moving in from the southwest. Temperatures will actually drop down. The air is going to evaporate. It's a cooling process, so the thermometer will drop down in the 40s. So this rain overall will be a chilly rain in the 40s and some gusty winds too as this moves on by. So what does it look like on map form? Well, I'm going to move the clock up to about noon tomorrow, nearly 24 hours from now. As I mentioned, the rain shield will be beginning to expand to the southwest, heading northeast. Now, the dry air is going to eat away at some of this in the leading edge, so not all of it's going to reach the ground. But eventually the air does saturate and the rain takes over. Now we're getting some yellows indicating more of the moderate rain, 4 to 5 o'clock tomorrow. Steady rain for sure. Just about all locations will have rain by 4 o'clock. And certainly into the evening commute. But watch what happens as we get into tomorrow night. This is around 8:30, 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Ooh, nasty, right? The only thing I am a little worried about, and it's nothing major, but I do think it's worth noting, is that our southern counties right into Park County, Greene, Taylor, and Adair, I know a lot of you watching that area, we'll need to watch out for perhaps some enhanced winds with some of the lightning and thunder as these thunderstorms move through. At the moment, I do not see severe thunderstorm warning potential, but I also can't rule that out. It just really depends on whether or not the wind will be able to get what we call mixed down and transfer down to the ground level. But that potential is certainly there if those heavier rates do develop. So I'd at least want to mention that is possible in our southern counties. Just be weather aware, and we'll have a full update tomorrow when I talk to you all, and we'll see where we stand on that. But for the rest of us, just breezy 40s and a steady rain. Now, the good news is that the heaviest portion of the rain will likely be east of I-65 by the time we move into the morning commute Friday. So at 3 a.m., it's still pouring outside. Be careful as you venture out to work in school Friday morning. There will still be a lot of puddles out there because the ground is saturated. We still have some melting going on in some areas. That combination, the ground right now has a high water content. So that runoff of the water is going to be a little more of an issue than normally would be. So use some travel caution there. And again, the potholes are going to be forming. The ones that are out there now will be expanding, and then new ones will be developing. So use some caution as you're traveling because some of those potholes will fill with water, and you won't know they're there or how deep they are until the car ahead of you hits them or you hit them. So pay extra attention. But as I mentioned, the morning commute, heaviest rain east. Steady rain will likely continue, but notice the thermometer. Now we're jumping up. And that's because the secondary low number 2 that I talked about, still has to move in. It's back into Illinois at this point. Because of that disjointed main low and upper low, we have a chance to get some gusty winds. Some sun breaks may develop on Friday, and we're going to push into the 60s. We've got 62, I believe, for tomorrow or for Friday, but there is a chance we could get in the mid 60s. Can't rule it out. Could be a bonus day of warmth after a cold front moves in. So it's, again, a bit of an odd scenario, but it's only because the too low scenario at play. Otherwise, this wouldn't happen. But we will likely get into the 60s. Now, there is a chance that some isolated thunderstorms may try to form in our southern counties Friday afternoon. Very low wind potential, but it wouldn't surprise me. The moisture levels will be dropping dramatically as we head into Friday night. So it's got a limit. But again, there's a bit of a window where we could get a little bit of thunder action that will pop in the radar. But I think overall, what you will be talking about the most will be the buzz on Friday, will be the gusty winds and temperatures surging into the 60s. We do drop as we head into Saturday, just FYI. Nothing dramatic. All right, we're not going to lock up and freeze, but it will be noticeably cooler. So what about rain totals? Well, I'm going to go with, this is a very broad total here of 1 to 3 inches as we head into Thursday night into Friday morning. Right now, though, the focus seems to be aiming a little closer to the 3 than it will be to the 1, the way this is looking. I think we're going to have a lot of 2.5 inch totals. And the ground right now can't handle that as far as avoiding a bigger issue on flash flooding. But it's right, here's the level, and the potential is like right here. So it's just under that. So bears watching. If we see that trend grow, we may have to go with alert day. We'll watch that. But right now, I think we'll be under the level on that. But it's just been a long time since we've had heavy rain in the area. So I just want you guys to be careful. I hope I'm not repeating too much, but I just want to make sure you guys are good. Okay, let's see. Our ground in northern Kentucky still frozen. We're going to make the runoff even worse. Christopher, I hope I covered that. You're exactly on it. Michelle asking about flooding as well. Hi, Cameron. How you doing? I've even seen some of the model runs regarding next week severe weather chance. We're going to discuss that here in just a second. Brandon's ready to go. You guys are ready to go about the long term. All right. We're going to talk about the long term. You guys know what I got to do here. I got to do a quick break and give me 30 seconds for those of you watching on streaming right now. I'll be right back. We'll cover this on the long term. I got a lot to discuss with that. We'll do that in just 30 seconds. Hang tight. All right, welcome back. Thanks for your patience. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this a little different than I normally would for the long range. I'm back to that whole mode again where I'm not too thrilled about showing individual models. Cameron, I know, and Brandon, you guys were asking about that. I don't want to show the actual, what we call deterministic models, which are the ones that constantly update some cases about every 4 to 6 hours. I think it's too confusing. So here's what I'm going to do. And you guys are going to make fun of me for this. At least you probably will. And that's going to be my lovely drawings. But I think this is the easiest way to do it. There are several different elements at play as we head into next week. One will involve, obviously, the jet that is moving in across the Pacific. That's player number 1. We got the Hudson Bay low that is trying to press down once again on the lower 48, issue number 2. And we have the lovely dreaded southeast ridge that will also try to fight, which will be issue number 3. Because of these 3 factors at play, the weather systems are going to be fairly fast across the lower 48, but it also will create basically a stationary front. Sorry, I didn't do the triangles right. A stationary front that will be locked in roughly along I-64 from the east all the way into the plains. That is a good boundary to go by here. We'll be at I-64 corridor. Now, we're going to see a battle that will develop when it comes to that boundary that is set up where again, colder air is trying to push down, warmer air trying to fight back. The systems, if they move fast, they will likely be rain events with some gusty winds, severe risk, not a huge issue because the flow, again, will be more so fast from the west that you don't really gain a lot of a south wind there from the Gulf, so it doesn't really allow them to be severe weather makers. But if we get 1 or 2 waves, which is possible, that slow down, we not only will get the potential to get warm air involved, it can get some heavy rain and thunderstorms, even some strong storms, but on the backside, you can easily get the potential to get some wintry weather. My concern, and then the models, if you look at them now, and I know a lot of you do, they're all over the place next week. Some have snow, some have rain during the day, freezing rain at night as we drop below freezing. Some have severe weather indicated, especially by the middle of next week, and some have us completely dry. Whew. You know what? I think personally, I'm just going to stick this on Phil. I think Phil needs to be the one. I think Phil needs to handle this one because I think it's time to retire. Okay, so anyway, it is complex, so bear with us on the 10-day. I'll show you in a second where we stand on it, but bear with us on it. I guarantee you it is going to keep changing. So if you're like, wait a minute, they had a 30% chance of rain there. Now it's a snow chance, or now it's 65 and sunny. You're going to see those we're going to try to limit that as much as we possibly can. We're always thinking of that, and we're trying not to make it complex for you all. But this is the blog, so this is a chance for us to talk behind the scenes of what we're thinking and how things are trending. So I hope that makes sense. Here's another way to illustrate this. This is the GFS model, the ensembles. This is the temperature. Now the purple line's the freezing line. And notice as we head into starting tomorrow into the weekend, we don't get below freezing. It's it will be a cooler day. There you see the dip. That's Saturday. This is the jump in the 60s Friday. Here's the jump into the 60s on Groundhog Day, Sunday. So if you have weekend plans, Saturday will be the chilly day. Sunday will be the warmer day. Pretty easy, right? Not worried about really rain at all this weekend. It's just a temperature difference, and the wind will ramp up. We drop again as we into early next weekend, but then this is where the black line is the average of all the chaos. But you see all the gray lines? These are the possibilities that are showing up in the models. Now, if you look at the GFS, especially for highs, say next Wednesday, it's got the potential for a high temperature of 28 or right around 64. Easy. This is why we have the dartboard. Just throw and good luck. When it comes to precip chances, green is rain. You get in the purple, it's freezing rain and or sleet, basically a mix. So obviously we're locked in on the heavy rain coming our way. Next week, though, there are a couple systems that stand out that try to spike it, but you can see where it's struggling still, especially in the nighttime hours. It's like, I don't know what to do there. So that's why I can't rule out that wintry weather could sneak in on us. But right now, typically we do well with this on being warmer. But I am seeing that trend of more of that drop of the Hudson Bay cold again, the piece anyway, the stretching of the polar vortex. It will try again to press down on us. That is just beyond the range that we normally talk about, but that looks to be close to Valentine's Day. That's why I think at the moment we're lucking out on these warm surges. But as we head to the middle of February, yeah, we may get back into the wintry talk again. So that's why I'm not going to retire SnowTALK at all. We got plenty to go, right? All right, let's get into the 10-day and show you that, and then I'll leave you guys alone for the rest of the day there, hopefully. Look at the numbers. 50s to 60s, 40s, 60s again, 50s, 40s, 50s, 40s. And we're just going to keep the rain chances or whatever happens next week falling from the sky on the low end of the spectrum. All right. Did that all make sense? Type 3 for good. Hi, Travis. How you doing up there in northern Indiana? You think the best chance is February for winter storms? Yes, you are in a good spot, actually. The Ohio Valley in general is going to be a very heavy precip zone. So, obviously it just depends if it's cold or not, but it's going to be a heavy precip area. So it's a danger. All right. Angela's got a 3. Sean's got a 3. Jonathan, Joe, who else we got here? Renee, Bryce. Hi, Bryce. Oh, Bryce, you got a 4. Wait a minute. Why do you throw me off, Bryce? What's going on down there? All right. 3. Kenneth and Kathy and Carrie. I appreciate that, guys. All right. So you guys seem to be good on this, so I'm not going to dwell on it too long and ramble, but at least want you guys to know the complexity of this. And again, our main focus is going to be tomorrow night and Friday. So we'll be back with updates this afternoon, obviously for the newscast, and I'll be back on tomorrow morning with a blog update, and we'll go from there. All right, appreciate y'all. Thanks for joining me at lunch. Go eat your peanut butter sandwich now. Enjoy the warm weather. You won't really need the winter coat this afternoon. Yeah, hang that up in the closet for a while.